Redditors who were born at a very young age, what is your story? Clearly I was very sick. I mean, I was born in hospital. Damn man, I hope you are better now. I too hope he is better. To be honest, I've suppressed nearly every memory of the early period, but my parents tell me I avoided most activities, refused to speak, and spent much of my time crying. Big deal, I do that now. I still do, but I used to. I was so shocked. I couldn't speak for a year. Wow, same, but I was also so shocked I couldn't walk for 8 months. 8 months. You were lucky. I didn't walk until I was 15 months old. Then I got over it and discovered the joys of running. A maniac in blue clothes pulled me off and slapped me. Interesting. So tell us, what happened when you were born? Nice. I was born naked. That's so embarrassing. I don't wanna brag or anything, but I've seen a cat right after I was born. Not another one since that though. To be honest with you, it was pretty rough. I couldn't talk, so I had a real tough time expressing myself. It got so frustrating I'd just cry and cry. Sometimes my mom or dad would be there for me. Then they'd cover their face and completely disappear from my world. Also, I could not stop pooping myself, so no one respected me. Consequently, they kept treating me like a baby. I'm so sorry about that experience. Seriously, it made me tear up just reading your story. Hopefully, that mental trauma didn't follow you your entire life. You'll be in my prayers tonight. I wonder how young was he that it was so rough. When I was born at 27, I was already able to form sentences up to 140 characters long. I was born at a very young age. The youngest age anyone has seen. People say it was the greatest, youngest birth ever. It was young and beautiful. Great age. Tremendous age. And you know, a lot of people have ages. My people told me these people. Many people have ages. But we have such great ages, folks. I'll tell ya. But no one had such a young age. The doctors. They said, we've never seen such a young age. Many doctors told me this. The youngest age. Possibly ever. Joe Biden could never be born at such an age. Joe Biden. When he was born he turned 40. And maybe even older than that. I don't know. Maybe even older than that. And you know, I have never looked better. Believe me. Right after my birth I slowly started dying. Dang dude, that sucks. How do I get that sexy profile pic? I remember when I was applying for a job as a fashion editor, they asked me what made me get into fashion. I didn't know what to say, so I said I've been putting on clothes since I can remember. Both the interviewer and I started cracking up. I got that job. Why do you want this job? I've always been passionate about not starving to death. I like money. I happen to be born extremely young. In fact, I also happen to have been the youngest person on the planet, even if only for a very short period of time. Presumably, we should all get a Guinness World Record for having been the youngest person at one point. I'm picturing a bunch of Guinness officials standing in delivery rooms all over the world handing out certificates for the world's youngest person, and then immediately invalidating them. I was born at an extremely young age. Then it went downhill from there. The first 10 million years were the worst. And the second 10 million years, they were the worst too. The third 10 million I didn't enjoy at all. After that I went into a bit of a decline. I'm sorry to hear that, Marvin. How is the pain in the diads down the left side? When my mother was pregnant with me, they did an ultrasound and found she was having twins. When they did another ultrasound a few weeks later, they discovered that I had absorbed the other fetus. Do I regret this? No. I believe his tissue has made me stronger. I now have the strength of a grown man and a little baby. Dwight. Dwight is spelled with an H. Edit. Oh, I forgot the episode you all got this spelling from. Sorry. Threat level midnight, where Michael uses search and replace to bulk change everyone else's names, so they don't know the characters are actually about them. But since he misspells Dwight's name as Dwight, his is left in. It all started on the day of my birth. My parents didn't show up. Edit. This blew up. Thank you all. D. Doofenshmirtz Incorporated. How totally unexpected. And by unexpected I mean completely expected. After I was born I started to age quickly, with about 1 second per second. Every 60 seconds in Africa are minute butts. No it doesn't. Have you ever waited at a single lane bridge waiting for a tortoise to cross the bridge and you have an appointment that you can't be late for? Well seriously, this really has happened to me in South Africa. That does not feel like a normal second. Not me personally, but a friend of mine was born on his birthday. Is he okay? Any lasting trauma? No. He's completely normal. You'd never know he was any different from you or me. This question and all these comments have me over here giggling to myself. Glad I was able to make a few PPL laugh. You are a good man. Thank you. I was born at 0 years old. Beat that. Wait. You were born when you were 0. 2. I thought I was the only one. Hey. Maybe it's just rare. Not totally unique. If it's just the two of us. We need to write a book. There could be big money in this. Don't remind me. It was a very difficult time of my life, and thus I'm trying to get over it. Edit. Some people are telling/messaging me that they are sorry, and I really appreciate that. But my answer is a joke just like the question. Yes. This post should contain a trigger warning. I was unfortunate enough to be born on my birth date. My mom didn't show up, and I was very, very small. His dad hasn't talked to him in years and his mom ran away before he was born. Hailey Smith. While I get this is supposed to be a funny one, I actually was born at a very young age. 3 months premature in 1987. Or 3-month premature baby was a pretty dicey situation. My parents allowed the doctors to do some lung treatments that at the time were still very new. I spent a long time in an incubator and had a feeding tube. The scar makes it look like I have 2 belly buttons, which I used to think was super neat when I was a kid. All in all, I turned out fine. I have 2 kids of my own who were born healthy and on time. I guess I just wanted to share my somewhat serious story on this otherwise lighthearted thread just in case any other parents of preemies happen to read. Even if your baby is born at a very young age, there is hope that everything can be okay. I'm glad you're around, since there was a good chance back then that you wouldn't make it very far. I had a roommate who was also born 3 months premature in 1961. Her survival was a real miracle back then. Wow. That really is incredible. Not sure if this counts, but at age 6 I was born without a face. I was born with a full head of teeth. Chomp. My parents told me that when I was born I misbehaved so badly that the doctor spanked me. I was so damn ugly the doctor spanked my mama. I know a guy who was actually born 4 years before he was born. Luxury. Back home in Yorkshire, you had to work 17 shifts a day down mill for 20 years before you could even consider thinking about being born. And since folk had kids young back then, it were your grandparents what had to do planning because your parents, not yet having been born themselves, were already 18 years into their own pre-birth 17 shift a day slog and mill. And if you tell kids that today they won't believe you. Methodica. I literally almost choked on my drink the second I saw luxury I knew. It all started when I was born. And then, I immediately started dying. I was born at a very young age. This is where you cry, but there's a twist. My mom gave birth to me instead of my dad. After all that, why would your mom give birth to your dad? IDK. She still hasn't explained it to me yet. I was born when I was just 0 years old. Had part of my duck cut off, so it would look good. 1/10 would not recommend. I was born very young indeed. In fact, some say I was the youngest person to be born that instant. The Precambrian was a time of experimentation. I was born with 7 eyes, 2 noses, and lip tentacles. Mom was quite upset and screamed. Or I think she wolf, but she had no mouth. What's this from? It sounds like a reference. There was a sci-fi / horror short story some 50 years back. I have no mouth and I must scream. It's one of the very first things I did, being born. And as such, I didn't have much experience at it. There were a whole lot of large people there I'd never met, and I had no clothes that fit. That said, I did well enough that I'm still here and haven't needed to be born again. In fact, as age goes, I've held a personal record for days old literally every day since then. I learned a lot in those early days. Screaming doesn't always get you what you want. Moms and dads are pretty awesome. Being allowed to sleep 20 hours a day doesn't last forever. I'm so jealous of your achievements. I only beat my personal record for number of years old once every 365 days, give or take. Close bracket. I legit was born 7 months into the pregnancy, so beat that Reddit. 6 months for me. It was very stressful for my parents. I'm not proud. D. How could you do that to them, you little jerk? Ah. It was very sad. Both of my parents failed to show up for my birth. Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated. A platypus? Parry the platypus? In my day, we were born much older. I staggered up from the delivery room table and went right to work in the mines. And never complained once. People now are just born, and they're immediately crying. They do most of their crying and their whole life around that time. Snowflakes. In my case, I was born in the hospital so that I could be near my mom. Summerses. Hello Benjamin Button. My sister had the worst luck ever. She was born right on her birthday and is suffering from a fully developed body. If I could, I would give you an award. I'm dying over this, Mayo. You saying that is enough. I guess the real story is the friends we made along the way. At age 6 I was born without a face. Baked, and reading this thread is confusing as duck. Not many people know my story, but I was actually alive 9 months before my birth. It took me months to walk. When I was born I realized almost immediately that I knew practically nothing. Not much has changed. I was born a poor black child. Steve Martin in The Jerk. I was born at 9 months. I don't remember any of it. I was born at a very young age. I was just a baby at the time. Well, I'm very fast. I managed to beat 500 million contestants at my very first race. Then I had to rest for 9 months cause that was stressful. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you want more videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. You are helping me a lot. Thanks again.